and I really want to discover it for myself. It is an adult fantasy romance that I cannot wait to read. Hello besties, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day. Today I'm doing the mid-year freakout tag. I think it's a very fun way to look at the books that I already read and see what I liked, what I disliked, and also just to see how the first half of the year was going. So yeah, without further ado, let's start with the first question in this tag. And the first question is the top books of the year so far. And if you have been watching my channel, you already know that When the Moon Hatched is one of my absolute favorite reads so far this year. Also, Empire of the Vampire by Jay Kristoff, Bride by Ali Hazelwood, and also some contemporary romance. We have Wild Love by Elsie Silver. We have Funny Story by Emily Henry, and also Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. I loved all these books, all of them for different reasons. For the romance part of these books, the contemporary romance, I loved them so much because the romance was so well done. It convinced me. I was there with the characters and I rooted for them. For When the Moon Hatched, the world building is incredible. The characters, the emotions that it made me feel, the depth of the characters, both When the Moon Hatched and Empire of the Vampire are excellent in like how the world was constructed. If you want more of a post-apocalyptic world with vicious vampires, a book that the author does not pull any punches. It is very visceral, very mature content. Please read Empire of the Vampire. It's excellent. You already know how I feel about it. And When the Moon Hatched, it is how fantasy romance should be. It's just a chef's kiss. I love that book so much. Bride by Ali Hazelwood made me laugh so much. The banter was so good, and I love the romance so much. So yeah, those were my top reads. I wanted to include more, but I'm going to include them in future questions, like the next one. The next question is, what is the best sequel that you have read? And the best sequel is All This Twisted Glory, this book right here by Tahereh Mafi. And you already know this Woven Kingdom is one of my top YA fantasy romances ever. I think I gave all books in the series that already came out 5 stars. No, I think I gave All This Twisted Glory 4.5. Just because I thought that we did not get so many new things happening in the plot. So yeah, but the romance is a chef's kiss. You already know. Also, one of the top sequels that I read this year is Iron Gold, which is the 4th book in the Red Rising saga. A bomb. We are not going to talk about it any longer because I already talked about it in my wrap-up. I love it to death. Read the series, please, again. And the next tag question is new releases that I haven't read yet that I really want to get to. There are a couple of books that I'm thinking of that I really want to get to that are new releases. Song of the Six Realms, The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo, 5 Broken Blades, I really want to read that one. The Crown of Oaths and Curses, it was released last year, but the sequel released recently now in May by Jay Bree. It is the 2nd book in the series, and I really want to start reading the series because I keep hearing about it everywhere and everyone is loving these books, so I really want to read them. And also, I really want to read Quicksilver. This is a book that I have seen H.G. Carlton recommend on her Instagram. She's the author of Haunting Adeline, and I really want to get to it. It's a dark fantasy romance. The cover is stunning. I will put it up here. And I heard that there is a very well done slow burn, and it's an enemies to lovers. I need to get to this book. Not a lot of people are talking about it on BookTube, but I keep seeing it a lot in my Facebook groups. So definitely going to read this one as soon as possible. The next question is, what are your most anticipated releases for the second half of 2024? And for this, I have to say, I have 3 books that popped in my mind directly. Spectacular by Stephanie Garber. This is a novella set in the world of Caraval, the Caraval series. I cannot wait to read this one. And also Wisteria by Adeline Grace. This is the third book in the Belladonna series. I love the series to death. If you haven't read it yet, Belladonna is one of the most well executed gothic fantasy romances ever. I loved it so much, and I cannot wait for the third book in the series to come out. Also, the second book in the Princes of Sin series by Kerry Manscalco. I recently talked to you about Throne of the Fallen. In my last wrap-up. I read this in June, and I cannot wait to read the next book in the series. The cover of that book also is gorgeous. It is called Throne of Secrets, and I think we are following Prince of Gluttony, and I cannot wait to read that book. This was a 5 stars, and I have high expectations for the next book in the series too. So yeah, those are, I think, my most anticipated releases that I can think of now. One more book that I can add to this list is one that I've talked about in my special edition books that you can buy with no subscription. We have a Waterstones exclusive edition of this book. It is called Rewitched. And I love that it is a cozy fantasy romance, and it was also pitched as perfect for people who love the hex appeal and a witch's guide to fake dating a demon. And I cannot wait to get to this one. I think it's going to be perfect for the fall season. So yeah, those were all the books that I could think of that I am anticipating in the second half of 2024. And the next question in this tag is, what was your biggest surprise? And I have to say, my biggest surprises, I have 4. 1, Emily Henry. 2, Abby Jimenez. Those are authors, I know, but the books that I read made me regret so much not reading one of their previous books from their backlist, and I'm definitely going to do that. Also, Sarah A. Parker, When the Moon Hatched, was such a big surprise. It was amazing. Also, J. Bree, The Bonds That Tie series. I cannot remember when was the last time that I binge read a series that is 6 books long in 1 week. It never happened, and I want to say that I was surprised because I had low expectations going in, that it was just going to be a fun quick ride. It was a fun quick ride, but it left such a big impact. It was filled with emotions, and as I said in my wrap up, I thought it was going to be mostly smut and like superficial world building and like characters, but no, these characters will steal your heart. They have so much depth, and I enjoyed it so much. It was repetitive at times, and the beginning of the story, the first book, the writing style needs some getting used to, but such an amazing surprise. I love this series so much, and I cannot wait to read her future books. As I mentioned, I really want to read the newest release, the fantasy romance that I mentioned by the same author, by J. Bree. So yeah, highly recommend. If you haven't picked up any book by J. Bree yet, highly recommend you do. It was such a nice surprise. The next question in this tag was a new favorite author, and for this I have multiple. First of all, I have to say it, I have to give it up to Pierce Brown. Oh my God, this person can write mind-blowing books. That's all I'm going to say. Pierce Brown, Jay Kristoff, Sarah A. Parker, and J. Bree. These are my new top favorite authors that I discovered this year. And yeah, I can add Emily Henry, I can add Abby Jimenez, but I only read 1 book from them. But also Sarah A. Parker, I only read 1 book from her, but that book was mind-blowing. All the building she's done. Yeah, those were my top authors. I am so grateful and happy that I discovered them this year, because these are going to be auto-buy authors from me from now on. Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, the next question in the tag was books that made you cry. And for this, I want to say Funny Story, Empire of the Vampire, Empire of the Damned, both of them, When the Moon Hatched, and also Red Rising, the whole saga, I mean, multiple books. Yes, those books, if they didn't make me cry, they made me tear up, but these books made me cry. Yes, very emotional, trauma, and like strong emotions due to horrible things that are happening, and I love them so much. So yeah, funny story, maybe more that I was like happy crying, but yeah, it made me tear up multiple times, absolutely. And the next question in the tag is the opposite, books that made you happy or smile or like laugh. And for this, I have 3. I have Wild Love by Elsie Silver. The banter, the dialogue made me laugh out loud so hard. I loved that book so much. I need to add Elsie Silver to my new favorite authors. Yes, I'm going to buy everything that she published from now on. I loved her book so much. Book that made me happy, Riley Thorne and the Dead Guy Next Door. I loved that book so much. It made me laugh. Also, Finlay Donovan, the new release. Finlay Donovan Rolls the Dice. Made me happy so much. Both of them. Lucy Score did an amazing job. Also, absolutely 100%, The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy. This book right here. If you haven't read it yet, this is very underhyped and it deserves all the hype. This was so good. I was laughing so hard. The side characters, they made me smile, laugh out loud. I love them so much. I can remember the lines that made me laugh. I love this book so much. Such an amazing, fun, light-hearted story and a very heartwarming romance. Highly recommend this one. So yeah, just as a reminder for you guys, you need to read this book if you want to have a great time. I loved it so much. The next question was a new favorite character, and of course for this I have a list too. The first characters that popped into my head when I read this question were Darrow from Red Rising, Darrow and Severo, the duo, and Gabriel De Leon, who is the main protagonist in The Empire of the Vampire. He's such a strong character. And also Ollie from the Bonds That Die series, and also Rave from When the Moon Hatched. All these characters, they have this strength, different, very different from each other, but all of them like impacted me and I rooted for them, and like I rooted for a lot of characters that I read, but these are the one that stood out for me, I could say, from the books that I read. Those are my new favorite characters from this first half of the year. And the next question in this tag is one of my favorite questions. It is most beautiful books that you bought this year. And I have a long list to be honest, but I tried to narrow it down for you. The first thing that popped into my head, my top favorite set that I received this year is the Duskwalker Bride series by Fake Rate. I'm looking at it. Yeah, 100%. I will link the unboxing down below so you can take a look at it, because I'm not going to pull all of the books now because that will take a long time to do. But that one, I will link it down below. Also, the War of Lost Hearts series by Bookish Box. I will also link the unboxing down below. Definitely the Bonds That Die series. I received them this year because I bought them during Black Friday. Stalking Jack the Ripper, Monsters and Muses. I will link all of these unboxings down below. Monster and Muses set, gorgeous by Fake Rate too. Also, yes, one of my absolute adult fantasy romance vampire books, The Serpent and the Wings of Night and The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. Those are the 2 first books in the Crowns of Nyaxia series by Carissa Broadbent. And I have the special editions done by Arcane Society, and they are one of the top gorgeous special editions. Everything that I'm talking about for this particular question in the tag, all the videos will be linked down below if you want to take a closer look at them. And also, I feel like I'm forgetting some. The Crimson Moth by Fairy Loot was one of the most beautiful editions done this year. Also, A Fate Inked in Blood. These are the ones that I could think of, but there are too many. There are too many. I tried to narrow them down to my top ones, but I love them all. You know, I love them all. And yeah, moving on. Let's move on to the next question in the tag. The next question is the books that you want to read, you really need to read before the end of the year. And for this, I would say I want to read Emily Wilde's, reread the first book and then read the second one. I also absolutely want to read The Luminaries, which is this book. Every time I have put The Luminaries and The Hunting Moon, the second book, on my TBR, I didn't read them. Every time I put them, I didn't read them. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm not going to mention them on my TBRs anymore, but I would just read them without mentioning them because maybe they are cursed. I don't know. I'm not going to mention that I want to read them because every time I do, I don't. So I will try to read them without mentioning them on my TBRs, and hopefully I will get to them soon. I keep hearing the greatest things about them and I really, really want to get to them. I know that these are more of a fall read, but it doesn't matter for me if I'm in the mood to read an urban fantasy set. I think it's set in a small town with a forest filled with monsters that come from nightmares. That's what I remember. So yeah, definitely need to read these as soon as possible. Also, I want to finish the Inheritance Games. I read the first book. I still haven't read the rest of the series. I want to read it because the first book was so fun to read, and I loved following around our main character trying to figure out all the puzzles. It was so fun, so fast-paced too. Also, I want to read Blood and Steel by Helen Scheurer, especially that now the series is completed. We have the 4 books in the series. The series, I think, is called The Legends of Thesmar, and I heard only great things about it. I really want to read it. I also want to read the first book in the Alchemists of Loom trilogy by Elise Kova because I want to read a book from this author, from Elise Kova. I bought the books and I want to start the series because it's a steampunk where machines are mixed with magic, and I was just so intrigued by it. I also want to read one of the most popular, this book has blown up on Instagram and BookTube, all over the internet. I keep seeing this all over the internet. It is the Kindred's Curse series. I think the first book is called Spark of the Everflame by Penn Cole. And I want to read it. I want to read and see what the fuss is about. I want to join this train of fandom. And yeah, I know that maybe some books are very chunky and maybe they drag a little bit, but overall I heard only great things about it and I really want to discover it for myself. It is an adult fantasy romance that I cannot wait to read. And yeah, that was it for me today, book besties. That was my mid-year freak out tag of 2024. If you made it this far, leave me the swords emoji and let me know what are the books that you really want to read before the end of the year. And if you like the video, please watch one of these videos. That would help me out a lot. And also don't forget to subscribe and join the beautiful, amazing community of book besties here. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you in the next one. Bye!